All right, thank you for coming back to Locked On Illini. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you've hit that like button. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button. Just because the off season started does not mean you're going to get any less content right here on this channel. Every single day, at least a half hour's worth. I'm going to talk the biggest news stories. I'll be recapping whatever might be going on in Champaign, both on the football side and the basketball side. Illinois, the women's basketball team, will be playing in a couple hours. They'll be tipping off against the Texas Longhorns. Huge underdog, 18.5-point underdogs, but hopefully the ladies of Champaign can represent the Illini brand well. Speaking of representing the Illini brand well, at least in my opinion, let's talk a little bit about what everyone wants to talk about, and that's Kasparas Jakucionis. No matter what video I throw out there, whether it's a post game, just a regular video, I'll always get comments about, hey, Will Riley needs to come back. Kasparas Jakucionis needs to come back. What are these NBA GMs thinking? They need to be truthful with them. And, I want to be respectful because I always say my opinion isn't always right. My opinion is simply just my opinion. But in this regard, I really think it's quite honestly just silly thinking that Kasparas has any reason to come back to college basketball. And some of you might be like, hey, good riddance. You don't want to deal with the bad that comes with the really, really good. But I just think it's a matter of perspective. Okay, let's just talk real quick. Their age 18 years. Okay, Kasparas averaged this past season 15 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists. I just want to again put some things in perspective. Terrence Shannon Jr., who was a year older, his freshman year, he averaged 9.8 points per game and 4 rebounds a game and 1 assist. Illini legend Ayo Dosunmo averaged 13.8 points per game, 3.3 assists, 4 rebounds, and he also turned the ball over 2.5 times. Now, Kasparas' turnovers were way too high for our liking. I totally understand. But again, I do think that Illinois fans struggle because we've never seen a player like this before. Illinois has never really been a destination for where one and done talents come to play. And, whether you guys want Illinois to be a destination for one and done to come play, that's something for you guys to evaluate. But I will tell you that if you want to, and the reasons for wanting to, in my opinion, is that you raise the ceiling of this basketball team. Okay. I do think that you need NBA talent, one and done NBA talent to have chances at the Final Four. And, at that point, once you're in the Final Four, of course, you have a chance at winning a national championship. There's a lot of you who would be okay going the Wisconsin model, bringing in just good college basketball players who have good traits, who can be college basketball lifers. Again, a guy like Tanjay is like 24, 25 years old, right? But I don't think that Wisconsin team was ever really a threat to win a national championship. And it's not just me. Ryan Herrings, the host of Locked On Badgers, a dear friend of mine, he on his own show said, yeah, our expectations weren't really ever to win a national title this year. And if that's what you're content with that as an Illini fan, it's like, hey, I just want to be good at basketball. I want to win 22, 23 games, compete for the Big Ten title. But winning the national championship, that doesn't matter to me. If you're content with that, then yeah, maybe bringing in guys like Kasparas or Will Riley isn't something that you need. I'm not there. I understand that we're going to be dealing with a lot more volatility with bringing these type of freshmen in. But when you hit, I think it gives you the chance to win the ultimate title. And that's always why I'm going to be cheering, because in my head, I truly do think the Illinois can win the national championship someday. Again, I talked about this on the post game, and I'll talk about it more in depth later on this week. I think Kasparas did all he can do. I think it was just a simple matter of the way the roster was constructed. It shouldn't have relied too much on 18-year-old freshmen. We should have been able to bring a veteran star where he could have taken a lot of the gravity, a lot of the attention, and not have it on Kasparas all the time. But back to my original point of what the segment was going to be about. Should he go to the NBA? And this is where I ask you guys to be impartial. Okay, I have one son, younger son. So if you have a son or a daughter, Imagine they're 18 years old and they're very good at what they do. And they're being offered an opportunity to make millions of dollars to go on to the next level. Now, here are the two scenarios. Let's say Illinois maxed out on what they could offer Kasparas when it comes to NIL. And if I had to come up with a number, maxing out for Illinois for maybe one player would be like 1.5, maybe $2 million, just because we'll have other roles and holes that we're going to have to fill on this basketball team. So let's just say Kasparas gets the offer. Let's go on the aggressive end. I say $2 million. Kasparas, despite what a lot of you might think, is still projected to go very high in the NBA, and nothing has changed. It's not like NBA GMs and NBA draft reporters watched Kasparas in November and December and then just never watched him again, and that they were still relying on their ratings from November to December. No, absolutely not. On ESPN.com's latest mock draft, they have Kasparas going at number 6. Now, let's give you guys the benefit of the doubt and say he drops a little bit. So I'm going to say worst case scenario, he drops to the 10th pick in the NBA draft. The 10th pick from the 2024-2025 NBA rookie scale is worth $24,897,000. So rounding up, you're talking about $25 million. Year 1, he would make $5.5 million. Year 2, he would make $5.7 million. And those 2 years are the ones that are guaranteed. If there's going to be options in year 3, which is worth $6 million, and year 4, which is $7.7 million. But at least the first 2 years, you'll get guaranteed. Now, the conversation about Will Riley, I think, is more interesting. I still don't think there's any chance he's coming back, but it's at least worth having. Illinois, take your Illinois hat off and put your father cap on. And if I'm just going to use hypothetically, son was offered this sort of opportunity, keep in mind, at the next level, at the NBA level, if you're making that much money, you can focus on basketball all day, every day. You don't have to worry about classes. You don't have a 20-hour limit with your coaches every week. You can practice basketball all day, every day as your profession and with the team, and hire a personal trainer to help you get better at basketball each and every day. But some of you are saying, but what if he comes back next year, he fixes his turnover issues, and he goes up and he becomes a top 3 pick, a top 4 pick? Okay, that could very well happen. And yeah, at that point, he would double his salary expectation. The number 3 pick, the value on that contract is almost $46 million. But as much as I'm a KJ supporter, and I think, a lot of Illini fans are unjustly down on Kasparas for the reasons I've already mentioned, I can also acknowledge that I don't think he improved all that much this past season. He was very, very good at the beginning of the season, and I think he was good at the end of the season. And so what if the turnover issues don't improve? What if, his basketball talent is what it is? And at 18 years old, I don't think you can pass up that much guaranteed money, especially if you're already going to be a lottery pick. If you're Will Riley, who, latest mock drafts have in the 20 range, then maybe it's worth the conversation, because then coming back and being able to get bumped up to a top 10 salary, that's a conversation worth having. But Kasparas, there's no conversation. Kasparas needs to do what's best for him, both on the basketball court, because again, he can focus on basketball this way. There's no school that's going to take up, let's just say, half of his time. He doesn't have to live on campus. He doesn't have to worry about his grades. He can just worry about playing basketball, which is what he loves doing. And trust me when I say that this is good for Illinois basketball. If Illinois is able to prove that they can take the top talents, whether it's domestically or internationally, like Kasparas, and then develop them to go to the NBA to make $25 million, guess what? The next Kasparas that's out there, who's being developed, who's maybe 16 years old right now, who's 17 years old right now, when he's ready to come to the States, to come to college, to play for a year, or maybe 2 seasons, they'll know that Illinois is a place that they can do that for you because we'll have a track record of it. Hopefully with Kasparas and maybe even with Will Riley. This is a good thing for Illinois moving forward and for them to reach the potential that we want them to reach. And that's continually bringing in the top talent, not just in the United States, but worldwide.